Hey everybody, James back here again with you. Today I'm going to go over a few topics on the air gun here that I use. Well, it's not per se just to go over this exact air gun, but spring air guns and nitro piston air guns in general. I've been getting a lot of people comment on my channel saying that I shoot really accurate, and and then others were saying I should use artillery hold. Well, tell you the truth, I'm not that accurate. I mean, I with the scope I'm decent offhand, but I'm not that good. Secondly, the artillery hold is what I've basically been doing anyway. What a lot of people don't understand is the artillery hold is basically just a consistent hold that you do every shot. You don't change how you're holding the rifle. You don't change anything. And what you want to do is, instead of basically holding it as like a regular rifle, like one with recoil, like a heavier, like a Magnum, or a real firearm, you want to. Now I'm left-handed, but I'm going to show you guys on camera how this would work. Or right-handed. I'm right-handed, so I'm showing you a left-handed way, just for the purpose of this video. But so you basically, on artillery hold, you try not to contact the actual rifle itself, like add any pressure to it. So what you do is use your hand, that's going to be your offhand down at the end of the forearm, to just cradle it. And you don't add any pressure with this hand. You don't grip it really hard, or you don't clench. So basically you just let it rock. And all you do is, if you had a scope on there, you just look down the rifle, and the only thing that you should actually add pressure on is the trigger. So let me show you that real quick, just how I do it. I mean, I make it look easy, I guess you could say, on camera, but it's not that easy. It's more of a practice thing. If you practice a lot like I do, you're going to get this down, and it's going to be easier for you to hit the target offhand versus having to have a rest or a stand to shoot from. So let me show you here. Okay, so you can see my hand. You barely have the stock in the shoulder. Just let it rock. You look down your gun, and the only thing you should add, and if you want to curl your hand, you can, but don't, like I said, clench. So just let it cradle. And you just look down your barrel and let it rock. Now, the key thing, like I said, is consistency. These are a different animal compared to a standard firearm. So what I mean by that is, on a firearm, if you're sighted in with the scope and you pull the trigger at the same exact spot, it's going to hit there. But with an air rifle, you have to be even more consistent, and that's the thing. A lot of people think that these spring air guns or nitro pistons are junk, and they're not. You just have to know how to shoot them. When I was a kid, I never really, got into depth on details. I just shot, and I didn't know. And years gone by, I gained more experience, and that's what you do if you study in something, or you're into something deep like this, or firearms in general. So come to find out, these actually have a double recoil. I didn't know this. I mean, I knew they had a harder recoil than a regular firearm, because I've heard stories of these things breaking scopes, a regular scope. It has to be an airgun rated scope. But I didn't know why. And the reason why they do that is because when you press the trigger, actually there's a plunger and a spring in here. That's why they call it a spring brake barrel. So the spring is all the way back here cocked. When you click the trigger, it goes forward, and the plunger goes forward and actually just shakes the whole gun like that. That's the feel that you get from when you pull the trigger. Well, what happens is the plunger hits the barrel, or the seal here. All that air pushes forward, and you feel that jerk. Well, the plunger actually bounces back, so that's why you feel that. And so the artillery hold is just basically let it cradle like you're going to shoot it, like basically the old style cannons where they just sat in the wagon, is what a reference I've heard before was. So anyways, that's the artillery hold. Alright everybody, so the second part of this video, I want to tell you a little history about the FBI actually using an air rifle to determine the switch from the 9mm cartridge to the 40. A lot of you may not know this, and there's probably some guys out there that do. I found this on an article from the NRA, and I believe or it's actually it's NRA. It's called Throwback Thursday, the ammo test. I'll actually put the link in the description below, that way you can read into it. But what happened was, on April 11th, 1986 in Miami, there was a shootout between two people and FBI agents, two criminals actually. And FBI agents were armed with semi-automatic 9mm pistols. And the first shot that rang out that actually hit one of the criminals, the 9mm was 2 inches short of the person's heart. So these guys, long story short, these guys were getting shot up with a 9mm and not dying. So, and come to find out, they took on 7 agents, and there was 5 of them that were majorly injured, and then 2 actually died. So the FBI decided to go ahead and, look into why those 2 people wouldn't just die being shot with 9mm. I mean, they were filled to the T with 9mm bullets. So this is when they started to come out with those ammo tests, the ballistics gel. That's what came about this story. And you can, like I said, you can read it below. But they transitioned from 9mm to what they carry now, and that's the reason behind that. The FBI agents do. So how does the air gun play effect in this? Well, they had ballistics gel blocks made to test the different calibers at the time that they were testing, to see how well they were, in field scenarios. They come up with 8 tests that would replicate field scenarios of a person being shot by a FBI agent. Well, an air rifle is actually used to shoot those ballistic blocks to tell whether or not it was calibrated. So I just wanted to share that with you. That's, an air rifle actually helped out in the testing of, determining what round was better than a 9mm back then. So I thought that was pretty cool, and a lot of you might think so too. I don't know exactly what model it was, but it was a BB gun, and they would pump it 10 times and shoot into the ballistic FBI spec block, and it'd have to go in the block 3.5 to 4 inches for that block to be good. If it wasn't, if it was farther or longer than that, they would throw the block out because it wasn't spec'd right. So, and according to the article, they tested thousands of blocks doing it that way. So anyways, a little trivia there. I just wanted to share that. I thought that was interesting. But I hope you guys like this video. It's kind of fun to make, especially that article really struck me, doing these air gun videos. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you on the next one, as always.